All right, family. You're listening to Spirit Child, and this is Spirit Speaks with our in-house host this evening, Miss April Phillips. We've been talking about her story and humanology. That if it don't feel right, take flight. We're going to take a short break here, take care of some station business, and when we come back, we're going to get right back into this next set. Peace, family. Stay tuned.
It's okay.
All right, family. We're back. You're listening to Spirit Speaks. I'm your host, Spirit Child. And in the studios with me this evening is our co-host, Miss April Phillips. We ended this last session with reflection. And so, sis, I want you to come back in and tell the family, finish up your thought. Let's put some bookends on that reflection. And then we're going to bring it a little bit forward, because this is all about finding ourselves. So tell the family, what about that reflection?
Well, what I've learned, this is my experience and my experience only.
Right?
9 out of 10 times when people are mad at you, when people are giving you advice, when people are repetitive in telling you who they are, they're reflecting not only to you, but to themselves. Sometimes people have to be repetitive, telling you, oh, I'm a good person, because they need to convince themselves that they're a good person. Sometimes people, when they say they don't want something, they're reflecting that they do want it. So, when they tell you what they don't like, it's what they do like. So people reflect. When people are abusive, it's because 9 out of 10 times they've been abused. They reflect outwardly because a lot of people don't know where to put that energy and how to take it and use it progressively. So they become regressive with it. So I have a good understanding of that. So when people give me advice, I never think that I know everything. I listen all the time, whether I agree with it or not, because at the end of the day, what we call, and when I say we, I mean society, a fool, they can tell you the most important information you ever heard in your life. So we can never negate what people say. We can't look at people by what they have, how they look, and decide whether they can tell you anything or not. You have to take it all in. So that's just where I'm at. And so in my observation of humanness, this is what I've learned, that all rich men aren't going to give you good advice or good knowledge. All poor men aren't going to give you bad advice or bad knowledge. All smart men aren't going to tell you something intellectual, and all dumb men aren't going to tell you something idiotic.
All right, and I think that are definitely words to live by. Again, family, you're listening to our co-host this evening, Miss April Phillips, and I am your girl, Spirit Child. You're listening to Spirit Speaks, and this is our session on finding ourselves. So, sis, I want to change the pace just a little bit.
Sounds good.
What you were talking about is a great opportunity for you to explain to the family where, at this moment in time, you feel the need for change.
To me, there's only two changes to make.
Okay.
And that's with anybody. And one is to love first, and the other one is to know yourself, to know thyself.
Right.
If you have those two things going, everything else is a piece of cake.
Now, what kind of cake is that? Is it red velvet? Is it lemon?
Baby, this is universal cake.
All right.
Spirit cake.
Spirit cake.
Child.
Girl, you better tell him. That's what I'm talking about. So when we think about change, love, and we talked on our other projects about love being one of the greatest generative principles, coupled with care, because you generally love or pay attention to what you care about.
But we're not all nurturers.
That's very true. So here's my question for you, sis. With the life that you have had, I think that is ultimately amazing that you still have the capacity to even feel or desire to feel and share love.
You know, when I look at myself, Spirit, I felt like that when I was created, that there was no other ingredients but love. I'm so full of love. I've never stopped, and that love has allowed me to continue to trust, to continue to be kind of childlike, like innocent, like giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, and just going in with my eyes wide open and no defenses, and just organically love. But not what humans know as love, but what love really is. That loving without any requirements, loving just at the moment I see you, loving to the point that nothing you can do can make me stop. That you don't have to be any certain way for me to love you. Just be you.
Right. You know, I always say that when people come to you, they come to you for a reason.
Absolutely.
They may not know what that reason is, but it sounds like you definitely have, and I use this analogy often, the prescription for what may potentially ail them. Do you feel that people are drawn to you? And if so, why?
Well, I've always described myself as a muse. And for those that don't know, a muse is one who inspires. But there are different types of muses. And there could be a creative muse. There could be a sexual muse. I mean, it goes on. But I've been blessed to be a multifaceted muse.
I believe that. I believe that.
So I attract those who in need of motivation and inspiration. And therefore I mold myself towards what they need. I'm a mutable personality. So therefore I inspire based on need. It's like a prescription, as needed.
Oh, shuck it down. It's a PRN.
Yes. Yes.
So it sounds like you have a little bit of a chameleon in you.
I have a lot of chameleon in me.
Okay.
I've always been attached to that animal. So, therefore, yeah, chameleon is really good.
Now, you know I'm going to have to go to the Book of Spirits and see what it says about that chameleon.
Yeah, I'm sure it says something great about
I'm
it.
sure there's a picture of you in there somewhere.
It might be, because other than the color changing, I'm pretty much a chameleon.
Well, you know what? I would tend to agree with you. And, you know, we talked about this the other night about the racial ambiguity. how have you, or did you even ever have to use that to your advantage?
I really haven't used it purposely, but it's just been something that's been there. I never really kind of knew. I knew, but I really didn't know. Other people made me aware of it. You know, your physical self is all in perception of others. So you really don't know who you are physically until people tell you who you are. You know, your spirit, your spirit is who you really are and who you know yourself to be. But your ego has to be given to you by others. So therefore, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't think twice about it. I just thought I was me.
Right. And aren't I enough?
Right. So, but as I grew and people started asking questions or saying you are this, then okay. Maybe I should pay a little bit attention to it. But I didn't pay attention to it in the way that I took advantage of it. I paid attention to it in a way where it worked for me as an attraction. So it brought people to me that needed me. Because sometimes in this world, people need people, but because of how we've been conditioned and traditioned to believe and think and operate, we don't approach people that we need because of how they look. So it's been beneficial to me in that way.
And I can see how that, like you say, maybe not intentional, but for some people, perception is their reality.
Absolutely.
And
that's all they live on.
Yep. And it's unfortunate, but hey, we make it do what it do.
But I think, the thing about me is that people look at me and see one thing and don't even realize what they're getting. You know what I mean? And sometimes if you're vibrating so low, it's an intimidating thing. But for those that need, they're going to feel it immediately. So I just look at it. There's waste. People are just like most things in this world. They're recyclable, but there's waste product too.
Absolutely.
So, you choose.
That's right. And it's always a choice. So we've been talking about change. And what I want you to tell the family is, why do you feel for you it was time to make a change in your life?
I didn't, though. I didn't feel I needed to change.
Okay, that's fair.
I really thought that I was like doing well. So crazy. Because when you think you are so intellectual and you're so knowledgeable, because let's not confuse intellect with knowledge.
All right.
But when you feel like mentally you have a lot going, then why do you think you need anything? That's how we humans, when we exist in our human selves, we get to that point where I filled up my basket. Why do I need anything else?
You said you good.
I'm good.
Okay. And that's fair.
It was shown to me. It was delivered to me. It was given to me. And I'm so thankful and I'm so humbled by it, because it showed me a me that I didn't even know could exist. I thought I was happy, but I wasn't happy. This happiness doesn't stop. That happiness had moments. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
This happiness is everlasting. It's been 4 years. I haven't had one bad day in 4 years.
Now I think the family wants a recipe on how to not have